Welcome back to our faces. Hey, Alan, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Alive and well. There's a cold and a fever going around town here,
Um,
and everybody's got it.
I don't know. I hope you don't catch it.
I caught it, I recovered, and I'm back on it. You can hear a little bit of it in my voice.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Uh, I have my days off, so I should be okay.
Good. Good. All right. So last time we were talking about why I wouldn't move to Northern Ontario. Um, and the top three reasons were um, commute and then employment. And I like being in the city and things happening, even though I don't go to a lot of them, I like it. I like being in the know and in the middle of it. Um, yeah, convenience and all of that. Now, let's explore why you would not move to Toronto
hmm That's
and
a
prefer Northern Ontario.
there's there's a host of reasons why I wouldn't ever consider living down south, particularly in the GTA.
Hmm.
I might live outside, like somewhere like Belleville or somewhere like that, where it's slightly outside the
Hmm.
hullabaloo of it. But it essentially boils down to my background, what I want from life, and what I don't want from life. These are the three main things. The background is that I grew up in Idiki, as you know, and I'm used to being in wide open spaces, the jungles, the wilderness, a quieter kind of life. I don't like crowds. I've never liked crowds. I'm more comfortable on stage than in the midst of a group of people because on stage I have more control. In a
Hmm.
group of people,
Fair.
and everything I've seen about the GTA, even the 1 or 2 days I've been there for all the different things I wanted to do, like going to India to, or the first 2 days I was there when I first landed in Canada,
Hmm.
it's more than enough. It's just extremely distracting for me. The crowds and the hurry, it's too much. It's too much stimulation for me. I like it chill,
Hmm.
and that's it coming from somebody who is insane.
Hmm.
There's no escaping the fact that I'm insane. The second reason is, of course, I came to Canada to experience Canada. If I wanted to experience India, I would have stayed in India. And we are very familiar with to put it politely, the Bramptonization of Canada. And that's a very real fact. Since at least the COVID-19 pandemic, because of the unrestricted access to immigration that Indians in particular have had, and the ways in which people have abused and misused it, um, Canada itself has been suffering a lot because of it, because it's not, the infrastructure is not built for the amount of people that have come in, and especially people who are unskilled and unwilling to accommodate themselves to the environment that they are in. That's the biggest issue I have with living in a city like Toronto,
Hmm.
because as much as I like multiculturalism, as much as I enjoy picking from different regions and enjoying everything, I feel like when you come to a different country, even a different state, your responsibility is to make sure that you adapt to where you are. Bring your culture, bring your identity, don't bring your baggage. But I feel like we, as a community that is India, has brought our baggage instead of just our culture. And even just looking at Instagram reels or anything like that, every time I see like large crowds of communities celebrating certain festivals, obnoxiously loud, obnoxiously thrusting it into other people's faces, which I
Hmm.
don't think is a cultural depiction. It's more of a showing off, kind of take grandstanding in a certain way, and that does not sit well with me because I am always been somebody who likes things to be a little bit more reserved and a little bit more I don't want to say palate, like easier to the palate, because again, Indians, nothing is easy on the palate. Everything is bright and colorful, and that's
Hmm.
who we are, and I enjoy it. But it has to be tempered,
Hmm.
right? Again, this also goes back to when I went to Delhi and Agra last year. The culture shock was immense for somebody who grew up in India. I spent the first 27 years of my life in India, right? So even for me, when I went to Agra and Delhi as an adult, it was quite the culture shock because it's so vastly different from my experiences in Idiki, Kochi, Trivandrum, Kozhikode, Bangalore, Chennai, all of these places. It's huge in the difference
Mm,
and the way things operate. So that's another reason why I will absolutely not be living in the GTA. And then there's also, I think, the ghettoization. I think that's the word I would use here, where even within Indians, there's a certain communal aspect that goes hand in hand wherever
mm,
we go, right? Like people tend to live within their communities, and also I think it's specific to certain communities in particular. Even the Malayalis, there are a significant portion of Malayalis in Canada. I don't see the same amount of ghettoization where you all commune in the same area, you go to the same area, you buy up all the properties, you own everything, and then you make everybody else feel unwelcome, right? That again is another reason why I think things are turning for Indians in Canada. Because we would have noticed in the last few years in particular where the narrative has shifted, where even though there are a lot of extremely qualified, well intentioned, well educated, and well versed in Canadian ethics and ethos, people living in the country, the the scales have tipped in favor of certain people who come in as visitors and then never leave, which is
mm.
again an extremely Indian thing. You have a visitor in your house who never leaves. I think we have a whole genre of movies about it.
Yeah.
I
There is a
remember.
there's a famous short story or a book in Hindi, "Tum Kab Jaoge Aditi."
Ah, yes, I've heard of it. Yes, definitely. And then there's also the Vinay Pathak movie from the early 2000s about the same thing, where a friend comes to live with you for a few days and never leaves, which
Uh,
also reminds me of the Maggie Smith movie. Uh, ah, I forget the name of the movie. The Lady in the Van, in which she's basically this lady called Mrs. Shepherd, who moves in to the driveway of the writer Alan Shepard for a few days because she travels in the van, she lives in the van, and then
mm.
never leaves. She's there for 15 years. It's that vibe.
God, that's shocking.
I know. So that's again something that I can't
Mm,
quite wrap my brain around. I see a lot of this where I work because I deal with a lot of people who are long distance, long haul drivers. And somebody who's fluent in English, Hindi, Malayalam, understands Tamil, understands Marathi a little bit, can understand Bengali if it's spoken, can understand Punjabi when it's spoken. To deal with people who refuse to learn a second language,
mm,
right? That kind of rubs me the wrong way. And then I've this the number of times I have been told to speak Hindi or Punjabi because that's the only language they are capable of speaking. Again, that rubs me the wrong way because you're not bringing yourselves to the table. You're making everybody else bend and twist themselves to fit your perspective, right? And I think there's less of it up here in the north because this is not an environment where you can show off your wealth. This is not an area where you can party. This
mm,
is more for people, Northern Ontario is more for people who want to experience authentic Canada, the cold, the freezing north, the community culture, engagement with the community, and experiencing that, right? Yeah, I think those are the three reasons I wouldn't ever consider living in the GTA. And the closest I would do would be spending 2 days a year, maybe, when I come to visit, when I go to the Rome or when I go to visit my friends there. As
mm.
long as I don't have to drive in Toronto, I usually just, again, I come, I park my car in the Airbnb and then take the metro.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Again, driving, I can't imagine driving a car down there. Yeah. Especially after driving up here, even going to Sudbury sometimes, it gives me anxiety. I'm like, who gave these people driver's licenses? Uh,
Hmm.
I think that about sums up the whole Canadian experience discussion, I think,
It
right?
does. Yeah, I'm thinking of like what is untapped here, like
I'm
how
sure
can
if we I'm sure if we keep talking and yap, and I'm sure more ideas will come, but that might just annoy and disinterest people at this point of time.
true. This is already like part four. So it's like
Wasn't it supposed to be like a one short 40-minute introduction?
it
Oh,
was. It really was.
I
But
think it's a good introduction to the both of us that we can go on and on.
it really is. Like we can yap a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you see our favorite teacher from back in the day from our college, Ashwati Balachandran? She released a new poetry book.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I saw that. He released a new book. What was it
congratulations.
titled? My God,
Uh,
I have it on my phone.
my brain has tuned out. My brain is saying contagious, but I know that's not the title.
It's Carnival.
Carnival, there we go. Because I think her earlier book was called Contours,
Ah, this is the
right?
fourth collection of
Yeah,
poems,
yeah,
second in English,
yeah.
published by Authors Press, New Delhi, and it's available on Amazon.
Oh, speaking of available on Amazon, I don't have it with me. Okay,
Oh
we'll do it
no,
in another
do it.
video.
Do
We'll do it
you
another. We'll do it in another video.
okay, drop a hint though, like just give a little.
Something else is also available on Amazon with my name on it.
A book. It's a
Shut
book.
up. Shh. Yeah, as you can tell, I like books.
Yes.
Hmm. But we'll discuss that, I think, in the next video, which I think is closer to home to one of my subjects.
Yes. And
But
yeah, you wanna say the title? What is it gonna be about? And
so the next video that we're planning to do is historical fiction in India, or is it hysterical fiction?
and
Context
I
clues.
yeah, and I will be asking all the stupidest and the brilliant questions.
And I'll
So
have long-winded answers.
yes, I'll put on my curiosity cap and come
And
to
I'll put
the
my thinking cap on.
it's like it's a season of caps.
Uh, Capping, as the kids say.
Oh, but no cap. Um,
I still don't know what that means.
it means no lie, I think. It's like I'm not lying. Like
I
this
never,
this
I bet.
biryani is really good, no cap. So it
Oh,
means like it's really good. Like I'm not lying.
but
I'm not kidding.
but what's the context?
Oh no. Well,
Uh,
context has left the building.
I know. I never learned even the slang from when we were teenagers.
Yeah, I do not dare to say those words. No.
As you can clearly tell, I operate in the old British lady environment better than the young and the hip. I'm the
Very
old
much
and
like Maggie Smith.
yeah, I'm the old and the broken hip. That's where I operate. It's okay.
All
I
right,
think.
I think we will conclude this session and this topic.
Well, I'll
Thank you.
see you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Thank you to everyone who's watching. And we'll see
Yep.
you in the next video. No, you will see us in the next video. All right. Bye bye.